lot of people plan their Hawaii vacation the same way. They look up things, they assume some basic things haven't changed throughout the years. And really that's where the problems start, because a lot of advice that used to work doesn't actually work anymore. And in 2026, following the wrong, outdated advice doesn't just slow you down. It can cost you money, it can cost you reservations, and it can cost you time. So today, I want to walk you through 7 Hawaii travel myths that quietly waste your time and money and what actually works instead. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii's Best, a podcast helping you plan an unforgettable Hawaii vacation with practical tips. I'm your host, Brian Murphy, owner of Hawaii's Best Travel, and thank you so much for joining me on episode 210. If you're planning a trip to Hawaii right now, or even just thinking about a trip, chances are you've probably gone down the rabbit hole. You've had tons of tabs open on Google, all the blogs out there, all those YouTube videos, TikToks, Reddit, Facebook groups. And really the problem is a lot of what is out there is actually outdated or incomplete, or is just flat wrong and regurgitated info. A little insider SEO hack that most blog readers don't realize: many travel blogs out there just update old posts from years ago with the current year, a few new sentences, and that is in hopes that Google will re-rank their outdated content. Now, that might not sound like a big deal, just kind of a hacky type of thing for SEO, but when we're talking about Hawaii travel, it really is a big deal, because in 2026, outdated advice doesn't just mean mild disappointment. It can mean wasted money, lost vacation days, or showing up somewhere only to be turned away because you didn't know the rules have changed. So today, I want to walk you through 7 Hawaii travel myths that are as up to date as February 2nd, 2026. Myths that might sound reasonable, but can quietly ruin your trip. I'll explain why these myths are wrong or outdated and what they actually can cost you and what to do instead so your trip actually feels smooth, stressful, and relaxing, and all the things that you have envisioned when you're thinking about or planning a trip to Hawaii. So let's go ahead and get into it with myth number 1. You need a rental car the whole time in Waikiki. This one does come up quite a bit, the rental car conversation, but specifically in Waikiki, you may hear that you need a rental car in Hawaii. And Hawaii is many islands. It's not just Waikiki. When we talk about a lot of the other islands and even some locations on Oahu, yes, rental cars absolutely make sense in a lot of situations, like the North Shore, the windward side, the east side of Oahu, neighbor islands such as Maui, Big Island, Kauai, if you want to do road trips. But if you're staying in Waikiki, a rental car is often more of a burden than a benefit. And here's why. Hotel parking in Waikiki usually runs about $45 to $60 per night. And some resorts are even higher than that. And that's just to park the car while you sleep. Now add in the daily rental costs, gas, insurance. If you go through the rental car company's insurance, you're easily spending $150 a day for a car that sits most of the time parked in the garage. Meanwhile, Waikiki is one of the most walkable places on Oahu or anywhere in Hawaii. Beaches, resorts, shops, coffees, all walkable, all right there. And for longer trips, the bus is $3 and goes pretty much anywhere, though the North Shore is pretty tough to get to with the bus. That's most of your day. I'll come back to that in a minute. But there's also the Waikiki trolley. There's bikes you can rent, Uber, Lyft, and when you actually need them. For example, I just did a one-on-one consultation last week, and this couple is staying in Waikiki for about, I think it was like 4, maybe 3 nights. And I just recommended they Ubered from Daniel K. Inouye Airport to their spot in Waikiki, and maybe if they want to Uber to another restaurant or whatever, but they were just planning on hanging in Waikiki for a few nights, and then they were going to go ahead and island hop over to Maui. So they're not renting a car. They're just doing Uber while they're there. And my recommendation is pretty simple. For Waikiki, skip the rental car during most of your days in Waikiki, but then maybe rent a car only for the days you're actually going to leave town. If you're going to do North Shore and you're staying in Waikiki, I definitely would would recommend renting a car for the day. But just renting a car for one day, you're going to save money. You're going to avoid parking stress. And your trip, just having that off your mind is going to be a lot less stressful. Myth number 2, whale watching happens all year. This one I do hear quite a bit. You're going to Hawaii, you're going to see whales, right? If your timing lines up, humpback whales are seasonal visitors, and they migrate from Alaska to Hawaii to breed and give birth in the warm Hawaii waters. And they're roughly between November through April, sometimes early May, depends on the season, but really that's it. And the best whale watching window is January through March. And that's when you're going to see breaching, tail slaps, calves swimming with their moms, all that fun stuff that you think about when you think about whale watching. Now, if you're visiting in the summer or fall, the whales are gone. They've left. They've migrated back to Alaska. So there's no tours, no sightings, nothing like that. But if whale watching matters to you a lot, definitely would encourage you to plan around the season. And if you want to go deeper into a breakdown about how to plan or what to expect when it comes to whale watching, just last week I did episode 209, where I go into about how to watch whales versus shore spots versus boat tours, and how to pick a responsible tour operator. Whales are incredible, but they're not always in Hawaii. Quick break from today's episode. Don't worry, this isn't a sponsored ad, and I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to say thank you for listening. If this podcast has been helpful for you at all, hitting follow on your podcast app is the best way to support it. It's free, and it helps more people plan better Hawaii trips. Thanks again for listening, and let's get back to today's episode. Moving right along to myth number 3, taking sand or lava rocks is no big deal. Now, this one seems harmless. I actually see this come up quite a bit in Facebook groups. Can I just, bring a little glass bottle or a little keepsake of sand? But it's actually pretty serious. Taking sand, coral, lava rocks from Hawaii is illegal. In state parks, national parks, beaches, they're all protected. Fines can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars. And yes, people actually do get cited for this, but there's a deeper layer here too to understand culturally. For many Native Hawaiians, lava rocks aren't just rocks. They're connected to Pele, the goddess of volcanoes and fire, and they carry what's believed to have energy, mana. Removing them is considered deeply disrespectful. And funny enough, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, and actually the Postal Service, receives hundreds of rocks mailed back every year from visitors who took them home and later sent them back after experiencing a streak of bad luck. So you don't have to believe the curse, but you do need to know and understand and how to respect the culture and the law. If you want a meaningful souvenir, buy something that's made local, plenty of farmers markets, support a local artist, bring home something with a story instead of something that actually doesn't belong to the land of Hawaii. Myth number 4 of 7, island hopping is easy and it's quick. Island hopping, it sounds dreamy. Oahu one day, Maui the next, Kauai after that, but actually in reality, island hopping eats a lot of time and money fast. This is actually the biggest question I get, or that is misunderstood in my vacation consultations that I do. Every island change costs you at least half a day. Think about hotel checkout, rental car return, airport security. You got the flight, even though the flight is only, say 20 minutes. Then you land, get back, get your new rental car, new hotel check-in, probably isn't until 3. Maybe you can drop your bags off at the hotel and explore. But if everything goes perfectly, that's still 4 to 6 hours of your day that's gone. Then there's cost. Inter-island flights usually start around $50, $75 per person each way. Baggage fees can add up depending on your airline. A family of 4 hopping multiple islands can easily spend hundreds just moving around. We actually just experienced that. And also to remember that there are no ferries that connect the islands together. So every island means probably a new rental car, unless you're just staying in Waikiki like we talked about. But every other island pretty much needs a rental car. So if your trip is, say, 7 days, my strong recommendation is to stick to one island. You'll slow down, save money, and actually experience the place instead of racing through it. And if you want to do more than 7 days, maybe like 10, 14 days, and yeah, I would, doing an island hop is definitely doable. But if you want a full breakdown of island hopping in Hawaii, you can check out episode 125, where I walk everything about this in detail. And yes, I'll link that below. And I also will link the other episode, and all episodes I reference, I'll link that below in the show notes. Myth number 5 is you can just wing it in Hawaii. The idea that you can just show up in Hawaii and figure it out as you go. That era is over. And unfortunately, that's how we used to like to travel, is we're just going to show up for a week or two and then we're just going to figure it out. But you can't really do that anymore, especially after COVID and more reservations happening and more managed tourism happening. So we're now finally, I don't know what else to call it, homework era of Hawaii travel. You got to do some homework prior to just showing up to any of the islands. Many of the most popular spots require advanced reservations now. So there's not just casual showing up. Some of these reservations actually sell out in seconds. Ha'ena State Park on Kauai releases tickets 30 days out at midnight Hawaii Standard Time, and they're gone in under a minute. Hanauma Bay opens reservations 48 hours ahead at 7 a.m., and Diamond Head, Leahi, requires timed entry. And then over on Maui, Haleakala Sunrise opens 60 days out with the second release at 48 hours. So if you just show up without a reservation, you're not going to be able to negotiate your way in and hey, where's your aloha? You're not going to be able to, that's just not how it works. You're more than likely going to be turned away. And Hawaii is still worth visiting in 2026 despite all this. And we just visited, and I can definitely contest that it definitely still is worth visiting, but only if you plan with intention. And that's something that I talk a little bit more about in episode 206 below. That is all about what Hawaii travel is like in 2026, because there's new fees and new laws and stuff just that will and could affect your planning and your stay on the islands. All right, myth number 6, luau's are the only place to see hula in Hawaii. Luau's can be great, but they also can be pretty expensive. A family of 4 can easily spend $1,000 or more at a commercial luau. And for many travelers, that's just not realistic, especially. And the good news is you don't need to attend a luau to experience authentic hula. Free, high-quality performances happen all over Hawaii. For example, International Marketplace in Waikiki is one of those examples. Hotels, shopping centers, community events. Many of these performances are done by local halau and cultural practitioners. They're authentic, they're meaningful, and they're accessible. If a full luau experience is on your bucket list, then that's great. Maybe have that be one of those main things that you do, but don't feel like it's your only option, because there's definitely lots of options. And the best way, I would say, to find up-to-date performances is by just talking to your hotel concierge, wherever you're staying. They'll know where those performances are. They're usually easier to find in Waikiki, honestly, but any of the islands and resorts, you'll be able to find something that you can see some authentic hula. And finally, myth number 7, hidden gems are always better. Social media loves hidden gems. And honestly, some 10 years ago, when I started on social media, Hawaii's Best, I kind of fell right in line with that, because that is what was happening. But a lot has changed in Hawaii. Many of these spots are hidden for a reason, and some of them are actually illegal. Some are dangerous. A lot involve trespassing or active enforcement. Sacred Falls is closed. Haiku Stairs is illegal and heavily enforced. That's a Stairway to Heaven hike over by Kaneohe. People get fined, they get arrested, it happens. But the popular spots are popular because they're legal, they're safe, they're genuinely beautiful. You don't need to break rules to have an incredible experience in Hawaii. One super specific tip is if you're staying on Oahu and you want to go to Lanikai Beach, that is one of the hot spots for tourists to want to go. It's beautiful, it's incredible, but it's also right in the middle of a residential area. Parking is impacted. It's just super hard and inconvenient for visitors and for those that live in that area. So a replacement that I always recommend would be go to Waimanalo Beach. It's like the same sand, same incredible views, same water, but there's better parking, there's facilities there, and I think it's just going to be an overall better experience. So those are the 7 myths, but honestly, there are so many more and more than I had time for on today's episode. So I put together a free PDF guide for you, and it has 20 Hawaii travel myths, all fact-checked, up to date with practical alternatives. You can grab it in the first link in the show notes below. It's designed to save you time, money, and frustration. And if you want one-on-one support, I also offer consultation for your Hawaii planning as well. You can find that link in the show notes. But here's the bottom line in all this. Hawaii in 2026 is still one of the most beautiful and meaningful places you can visit, in my humble opinion, in all the world. But it's not the Hawaii of 10 years ago. The destination now rewards thoughtful visitors, people who plan ahead, people who respect the rules, who understand the rules, and people who understand that this is a community, this is someone's home and not a theme park. So plan smarter, cut what you don't need to do out, slow down. And if you do that, I really feel that your Hawaii trip will be everything you hope for and more. So thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you found today's episode helpful, and I would just ask to share this with someone who's planning a trip to Hawaii. And until next time, as always, live with aloha. Mahalo for listening to Hawaii's Best. If you found today's episode helpful, make sure to hit follow on your podcast app so you don't miss future episodes. You can find all links and resources mentioned today in the show notes below. Hawaii's Best is produced by Shorebreak Media Group, edited by Easy Podcast Solutions, and with music by our friends Stick Figure.